53 appearances make him the most capped outside back in USA history, and 93 caps in some of Europe's top leagues make him one of the most decorated Americans of the professional era, having spent time with the Wasps in England, the Dragons in Wales, Ulster in Ireland, and Parma in Italy. Emerick's 13-year career as a professional was sparked his freshman year of college in Pella, Iowa.
I played 1 year of college football. I was at Central College. It was a small D3 school. When I was there, it was a lot of the football players did it as a spring sport. That was my first exposure to rugby. I was 20 when I made the All-Americans, and I remember specifically having a conversation with Tom Billups about, hey, if you want to go where you want to go, and for me that was aspirations to make the national team, and that was aspirations to go overseas at that time, play professionally. Here's a blueprint for you in regards to training, fitness. My second year, transferred over to UNI, speaking to Steve Murrah, who was the women's coach there, and I remember him coming up to me and saying, hey, do you know who the Eagles are? And I was thinking, yeah, Hotel California, like, I love the Eagles. And he's like, no, it's this national team. And
through a decade of coaching changes in 7s and 15s, Emerick's trademark physicality, passion, and patriotism were constants for the Eagles. No one wore the jersey with more pride than Emerick, and his intercept try and celebratory salute during a brave loss to Ireland at the 2011 World Cup on the 10th anniversary of 9/11 is arguably the most iconic image in American rugby history. Along the way, Emerick became proof positive of the sleeping giant theory, that if the USA just got a shred of its best athletes playing rugby, it could be dominant, at least physically, on the international stage. If this cornbread Iowan from D3 football could manhandle his contemporaries, what would happen if we found and developed more Paul Emmerichs? As an assistant coach for the Houston SaberCats and the head coach for their academy side, Rugby HTX, Emerick is now charging headfirst into the task of finding and developing the next Paul Emerick.
So I want to take that experience, my journey, and I'm always like, if someone had just emphasized this or shown me that early on in my career, maybe I would have expedited my entry into the U.S. team or been better later on. But so I get to now do that, provide that high performance environment and coaching for American kids that are coming here for HTX. My focus is on development of American players and getting American players here and getting them ready for the SaberCats. And that all comes back to us having the same tools that we use at the SaberCats. We use all of the same analysis tools, GPS units that we do. We train 3 times a week. Once our weight room is finished, those guys will have access to the weight room as well.
As a coach, he finds himself having to answer for some of the more questionable penalties from his playing days.
I always kind of get questions about, I guess, that's why they call me the cactus, right? I was a little bit of a prickly customer, so the new guys, I always have 1 or 2 come up at the beginning of the season, and they'll have a big smile on their face, and they'll say, "Hey, coach, I Googled you. I saw some of your clips," but I guess they kind of recognize the intensity that I brought in the game.
Though Emerick is serving as an assistant to SaberCats head man Paul Healy, he is technically the winningest American head coach in MLR history. Emerick was brought in by then head coach Justin Fitzpatrick in 2018, and after a 2-9 start the next season, Fitzpatrick resigned. And with Emerick serving as interim skipper, Houston won 4 of its last 5 matches.
The plan is to be a head coach, if not here, somewhere eventually. But for the time being, I'll stick around and be an assistant and keep working with Heels and learning as much as I can. We're building, kind of takes a year or 2 just to cycle guys in and out. You have an idea of what guys are like from watching film and that, but until you get them into your training environment, into your locker room, see them play with other guys, it takes a while to suss all those guys out. So we'll get there. We're making strides in the right direction for sure.